Leetcode question 54, spiral matrix, and it's a median Leetcode question. Basically, you have M multiplex M matrix, return all element of the matrix in a spiral order. So what you wanna go through is like example, the matrix. You wanna start from this element and go all the way to the right, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the left, and all the way up, and not this one because you already printed this out. And then you want to go right, and then when you print the output you want to include every single element in the matrix and print them out, and that's the sequence 9 7 4 5, and that's the result that you get. And if you have an element that m does not equal to n, then you go from 1 to 12 and 9 and 5, and you continue to go to the last element, and then you print 5 6 7. That's the end of it. And you can see here some constraints here. And in the past 6 months, Microsoft asked this question 26 times, and it's a great question to practice on. If you look at this, we want to say let me give you an example here. That let's say that we have this 1 1 2 3, and then the bottom has 4 5 6, and then 7 8 9, right? We just use this one as an example. So basically this we want to call this we want to set a boundary for every single element when we append it. This the one that we want to set it to left, and the 3, let me just put a L, and 3 is the right? And then we want to set up a boundary of here is the up, and then here is down. And let me just shift them to make sure that they look right, and then basically that's how it is, up and down. You set up a boundary, and then you can iterate through the list and continue to move them. And at the beginning, left and up all equals to 0 after you define the rows and columns, and the right and the bottom is at the length of the basically the rows and columns minus 1, right? And then what you wanted to do is while the length of the result after you printed all every single element, they are smaller than the rows multiplex columns. So, and in this case it's 3 multiplex 3. If it prints, it's not exceeding 9 element, then you will still need to go through, continue to print the element. And when you print the element, you want to iterate through every single row, right? For the first one, you just go through this row, but then you want to go through, so the column is for the column in this range on the between the left and this right? And then you append every single element to the result. And then when you go down this row, because you have already printed this element, right? So you want to say when you want a next item, you want to go through for row in different range, and then you want a row plus, basically the row plus 1, basically go to this row, right? And then you want to go to the bottom, the last row, and then you move to the left side. If you move to the left side, and then if up does not equals to down, that means that you still need to continue go through the list, because if they are equal together, you already go through the end of the list. If left equals to right, you already go through the end of the row, the column. So then you're going to continue to go up and then print out every single element. And because I'm going to use a while loop, so every single time when you go through one line, you want to make sure to add a 1 to the left side, and and a decrease 1 on the right side, and plus 1 on the up, and a minus 1 on the down. So for them to meet each other, that's every single time when you go through a row and a column. And I'm gonna show you how to do this in code, and I think you will understand this better. And so basically I'm gonna give it a result to print all the elements, and I'm gonna define rows and columns. That's basically just like all the graph problems, and you wanna length is the matrix, and the cols is basically the length of a matrix, and 0, right? And then you wanna set up equals to left to 0, like I mentioned in the graph here, and then you want to set right is equals to cols minus 1, because the right side is basically the column, the cols, basically this length defined here, minus 1, and the down is equals to rows minus 1. And now I'm going to go through the while loop. And the while loop is basically the length result is smaller than the rows multiplex cols. That's the while loop. And for this while loop, I'm going to go through the first row here. So I'm going to say for col in range. And the range for this column range is basically from the left to right. I need to plus 1 because in Python, if I say plus 1, it will actually, the range will only process until the right. So that's how I make sure it will print this column, including the element 3. That's why I have to do it this way. So I'm going to say result append the matrix. And the matrix is basically the first row, right? Then the matrix is up, and then that's the col that I set the range for, right? And then I'm gonna go down for row in range of so now I'm going through the print elements 6 and 9. So the row range is up plus 1 because I have moved down to 6. That's why it's row up plus 1. And then because for the down, I want to make sure that it does print the 9 element. So I have to make sure it's down plus 1 so that it will print the element 9, right? And then I'm going to say result append matrix. And the matrix here, because I'm going through this column here, so it's actually row, and then the column is the right? It's basically on the right side. And then that's it. And if up does not equal to down, if up does not equal to down, it not yet. I'm gonna process this from the last element to the beginning of the element. So I'm gonna say for col, so for colon in range, the last element is right minus 1 because I have already plus the 9. So I want to process the 9. So I want to do, and left is left minus 1 because I will have to go through this first element, and then minus 1 meaning go from the last element to the beginning. And I'm going to say res append matrix, and the matrix is basically down because I'm in the last row, right? And then the colon, that's the col, right? And then if left does not equal to right yet, if left does not equal to right yet, so I need to continue to go through the list. So for row in range down minus 1, so basically down minus 1 is because I already printed the 7, right? So I want to start printing from the 4, and then the first one is up because I already printed the first element. So then it's up instead of up minus 1. And I want to process also from the last element to the beginning. Minus 1 meaning process the reverse sequence. So then result, I'm going to append this basically the 4 here. And the 4 is basically the row, and then the column is the left, right? If you look at it, the column is the left here. That's it. But for every single iteration, I need to, like I mentioned, I need to make sure left +1, and the right, I need to make sure -1, because every single time when I move, continue to print, the window is getting smaller and smaller so it can continue to print. And the up, I will need to +1 as well, because the up will actually move down, but the down will move up when you're printing. So down is -+1 in this case. And then for the while loop, when I meet the condition does not meet anymore, I will return the result. And that's it for the code. Line expected indent block in. Let me just remove this part. Yep. If you think this is helpful, please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon with more Leetcode questions. Bye bye.